You guys have been asking for a gear video, so I am going to show off my pretty minimalist recording setup for how I made the entirety of the Devils of Vulture Valley. So first, let's talk about all the equipment. I have a really minimalist setup, like I said. So on either side of me, you should be seeing Horizon Devices Precision Drive and a Focusrite Scarlett 2i4 2nd Gen. Doesn't really matter what generation you have. That's what I have. I really like keeping everything super minimal. So a lot of the gear we're going to be talking about is either going to be completely digital or it's going to be just some of the guitars behind me. So let's start with what I think is the most interesting guitar I own at this point. After I turned 30 last year, I got really into making guitars. I actually built one of my guitars over here from a kit, and I fell in love with the process, and I wanted to build a guitar mostly from scratch, but being in an apartment, I didn't feel like I really had the space to properly shape and make a neck, so I did not make this neck. I bought this neck off of Amazon, and same with the hardware and electronics and all that. But wood this guitar is made out of is very sentimental. It is actually made from a coffee table I purchased when I still lived in Vegas. It was the first piece of furniture my wife and I had ever bought together. At that time we were just dating. And we decided after we had our son that we didn't want to keep the coffee table because he kept running into it and it was not very, and we didn't want to mess it up. And so it had been sitting in storage for a while, and eventually it turned into this. I went and made this guitar from scratch after finding some designs that I then had to adjust to be guitar shaped, and through a lot of help of very awesome people, I built this guitar, and it is the guitar that Father Tyrant was written on back when this was the original riff. And so this guitar really is what started the Primitive War EP to become a thing. So, yeah, and that's what it sounds like. It's got one pickup. It is a no BS guitar. Does exactly what you think it should do, which is make sound, and it sounds all right. The pickup's nothing special. It is just a pickup that came from one of the kit guitars I built that I did not have a use for. So, yeah. All right, next let's talk about what I think is the main guitar of my recording process. This is a PRS SE Custom 24. This is from the 2013 lineup. This guitar is really cool because it made me fall in love with PRS guitars. So what makes a PRS special? It is the best of both worlds of Gibson and Fender, but also it is just so iconically unique to itself. You'll see a lot of artists like Santana playing these for a while. Herman Lee from Dragon Force, which is one of the bands that really it is the band that got me into playing guitar, plays PRS now, and it is just a sick guitar. Something different about this guitar from what you can find on the shelf now is, one, this was made in World Music Factory, or World Musical Instruments Company in South Korea, and what makes them interesting is this guitar is from one of the last lineups that was made in that facility, and I think that there was something happening over there that was special. I can't really put my thumb down on it, but it's something truly unique about the guitars that were made there. I play a lot of modern PRSs when I go to like Guitar Center or a music shop, and they just don't have the mojo that like this guitar had. The build quality is just incredible. The finish, if you can see it, is like a translucent black tiger stripe finish. Not tiger stripe, but the finish is a flamed maple finish, but it has this like very beautiful tiger stripe kind of look to it. There was just something happening at World Musical Instruments. Moved over to making their stuff in like Thailand or Indonesia now, so PRS I just feel like doesn't have the same quality, and the reason I feel that way is because that's not a negative thing. I know a ton of people who have bought guitars made in those factories now who love them. I just have played them and did not love them. This factory is still used by the likes of Ormsby guitars and Stramberg guitars, and I just think that factory really has nailed their R&D and their Q&A, QA to a T. And I think that this guitar, if I had to live the rest of my life with only one guitar, it would be this guitar, no matter what. It is everything I've ever written has started on this guitar or has been continued on this guitar, and everything I've ever recorded was recorded on this guitar. Another really cool thing about this instrument, if you look at the pickups, they have this very cool like finish. These are custom Atlas pickups from Dale Blakeman, the original owner of Guitarmory Pickups. Still doing really incredible stuff, but Dale no longer builds guitars or makes pickups, and he sold the business. So really special to own a guitar that has these pickups, but I feel even more special to own a guitar that was built by Dale, and to this day, Dale and I still chat. Yeah, just one of the things that really makes this guitar special. When you are listening to the Devils of Vulture Valley, just know that you are hearing 90% this guitar. I would even go as far as to say 95% is just this guitar, with a few lines that were recorded on the headless guitar that I didn't want to replace in Father Tyrant. Yes, everything for that album has been recorded on this guitar, as far as the guitars go. All right, next up is we have the 7-string that was built by Dale Blakeman, the original owner of Guitarmory Guitars. It might need to be tuned. Yep. I did not use this guitar on Devils of Vulture Valley. If I decide to make any more songs with it, I have a bit of a tradition with my music that I always write something that involves this 7-string because it's such a special instrument. It's one of the first guitars Dale ever built, and he sold it to me for just basically the cost of the parts and the wood, and it was a steal. It's the best playing guitar I own, if I'm being objective. Has a uber flat neck, which, when I say flat, it is just as flat as a board. It is just a dream to play on. It sounds great. It has some of the original Guitarmory Minutemen pickups. Has hip shot, bridge, and locking tuners. And yeah, it's a sick guitar. It had a wiring issue that popped up. Context, I've owned this guitar for probably 12 years at this point, I would say. For 12 or 11 years. And so it developing a wiring issue after all those years was not that big of a deal. I was able to rectify it pretty quickly. It's just a sick guitar. If you want me to use it for a song, you should really go and pre-order, or if it's out, or if you're seeing this after July 8th, you should go buy the Devils of Vulture Valley, and we'll make a guitar with this, or I'll make a song with this guitar. But for this album, it just wasn't, no ideas were really generated, so I stuck with the songs that are all on the typical 6-string guitar. All right, this is my Iceman. This is a funny guitar. This is an interesting guitar. It is the guitar kit that I built for my 30th birthday. And also, this pickup selector switch doesn't do anything. This pickup doesn't do anything. This knob doesn't do anything. My idea behind all of that was my son really loves watching me play guitar, and I thought it would be great to give him like a little busy board on this guitar. So the only good thing that matters on this guitar is the volume knob right here and the Seymour Duncan Pegasus pickup right here. This is if I ever get out to playing live, this will almost certainly be the guitar you see me playing live. It is relatively inexpensive, but also it is a guitar I feel that is just captures what I want on stage with a beautiful natural finish, but also is like edgy and cool. Yeah, so on this, I did replace a lot of the hardware that came with the guitar kit. This is actually a Iceman kit from Solo Guitars in Canada. But I replaced the bridge and the pickup rings and the tuners with all Geiger hardware. It was probably like $60 or $70 all in, plus the cost of like the pickup with 100 was like about $1. So I think all in on this guitar is about $500. And it came out so sick. Yeah. All right, on to the last guitar. This is a new instrument. This definitely was not used at all during the writing of, or even the recording of, the Devils of Vulture Valley. This is a Epiphone Carina Explorer. Yeah, this guitar is really cool. I'm a big Coheed and Cambria fan, and I've always wanted an Explorer. As one of my side gigs, I work on guitars, and a client of mine wanted some work done on a guitar, and had also offered this to me for a price that I was very difficult to say no to. And we made a deal where I'll be working on one of his guitars for free, and I paid him the rest of the amount in cash. And I am still getting used to this guitar. There's still some things I need to change. I still have to get used to this Mark Tremonti from Creed fame bridge. It's a cool guitar, and it's just one of those things that now that I own one, I'm kind of like really to understand the ergonomics of this instrument when I first looked at it as a fan, but I'm getting more and more used to it as I play it. It's a cool guitar, and I'm just happy to finally own an Explorer of any kind. Yeah. Next bit, we're just going to go through the rest of what I do guitar-wise. We're going to skip the bass because there's nothing really special about the bass I use. It is a used bass I got off of Facebook Marketplace. It's a knockoff of a Fender P bass. We're just going to go over what I do for guitar gear past that. So this is all what's happening inside the recording template. So here, these are basically the same. This is just the left and right because when you record heavy metal or rock, you really should be getting as much of the stereo spectrum as possible. So the idea is like, you'll have left and right guitars. So these should be basically the same. This is the EQ, but this is the main plugin that's being used, which is free. So if you are dying for my guitar tone, this is pretty much how you get to it, is the pancake setting using the Gent God amp from Amped Stevie T. It sounds good. I think it sounds better than good, honestly. I'm surprised that this is free at all. I'm not going to go too deep into the settings. Part of that is because I did pay somebody to make this recording template for me, so showing off all of what he did for me feels disingenuous. So I don't want to be handing out information that I paid for when you could go pay him for that, and you should, because artists should be supporting artists. That's all that's really doing with my guitar tone here. And then on there's a bunch of post-processing happening here. There's a clean stereo that I like never use. And then there is the leads. So here is my main. So if I'm playing a solo, this is basically what's happening on the solo section. So you can take a look at the settings again, steal those. There's a delay, there's the Valhalla space modulator and some saturation, and then 2 instances of EQ. And same thing, there's some weird stuff happening on the chorus melody, which an interesting thing that I do, or dumb, I don't really know. But for all of the lead parts, I always double track, or I just record the same part for the chorus melody and the post-rock tremolo part, so you can hear what this sounds like. I think that just has like a good sound to it. It does the job. And that's really all that's happening gear-wise. The vocal microphone I use is called an MXL 770. Picture right here. And that is how I make all of my music. And when I say all of it, I do mean everything before and everything that will come after the Devils of Vulture Valley. I really do believe in a minimalist ethos to making music. I feel like the less stuff I have between me and the recording process, the better. The Devils of Vulture Valley drops exactly 1 week from today, or if this is after July 8th, it is out and you should go stream it, because that's sick and cool. And if you're really into it, buy some merch. Thank you guys for all the love for Father Tyrant so far, and thank you guys again for just, heeding the call that there was a guy making dinosaur metal and that you all decided it was cool. Having a ton of fun making this music for you guys, and it's so rewarding to see how much you guys love it back. So with that, I'm saying bye, have a good night, and I will see you guys another time.